11 hours ago. Hold on.
This is exactly the kind of gameplay reveal that we've been asking for. Recently, we finally had our first proper multiplayer showcase, a real full in-game match showing the game off instead of just...
Hold on, this shit looks great. Yo, chat. Yo, first off, let me say this. Before Fortnite became Fortnite what it is, bro, on everything, yo, chat on everything, bro, like on everything. I called out there was gonna add anime to Fortnite, Dragon Ball Z before like 2017, bro. I said Dawn of War 4 was gonna come out because Dawn of War 3 was shit. Here we go. About 3 years later, we got Dawn of War 4. Xenoverse 3, I called it they were gonna probably add demon races, Kai races back in Xenoverse 1. Look, now we got Xenoverse 3. Possibly, we're gonna see that right now in reaction. Chat. My intuition when it comes to these things is just like one of one, bro. I don't know what it is. It's just 101, baby. Hold on, get back to the reaction though. This shit looks like it's gonna be lit.
Presentation, and it's basically given us the best look yet at what we can expect from Dawn of War 4. The creative director, Jan Tyson, and senior game designer, Elliot Verbeest, sat down and played through a full multiplayer match, and they talked us through exactly what they were doing, giving some good insights into specifics of the gameplay mechanics along the way.
Chat.
So we've watched through it and gathered all of these specifics, the mechanics, the things we can see in the UI, and the stuff that you want to know about how Dawn of War 4 is shaping up to be after its first real gameplay.
Yo, this game looks
reveal.
pretty as hell.
So let's start with what type of RTS this actually is and what the devs are
they gotta add more races, bro. I'm mad there's only 4 races.
Empires, or even the
bro, we always have orcs. We always have orcs, which you obviously you're gonna have orcs. They're around everywhere in the galaxy, bro. Then you have the classic Space Marines. Of course, I fuck with Space Marines, right? I like how the Necrons in there. I fuck with Necrons. Yo, what's good with you, Rob, baby boy? I'm doing some reactions right now that I'm gonna hop on the Space. What you want, bro? What you want, bro? You trying to run the ball or something? Yo, chat. And then I think Adeptus Mechanicus. That is the first faction I'm gonna say that hasn't been in an RTS game for Dawn of War yet. Besides any mods, that is the first faction that has not been in any of the RTSs of Dawn of War, from all the way Dawn of War 1. Now I hope this game goes further. People really fuck with it, where it goes to like further down along with DLC. Maybe we get some Chaos. I like Chaos personally. I really fuck with the Leagues of Otan, bro. I'm not gonna lie, chat. Yo, chat. The Leagues of Otan, though, you feel me? Low key is tough. I fuck with them, bro. I fuck with Leagues of Otan. That's probably my favorite race right now, besides Space Marines. I'm gonna say the Leagues of Otan for sure. I just like how they got the old age technology and just the way they run shit, bro. Like they're not like no human. The Imperial Guard got like some weird shit going on where they're like sometimes they worse than Chaos to me. Like what they got going on. I don't know. It's just like a whole lot, chat. Y'all got a lot. But lock in. Hold on.
Series,
this shit look lit,
feels
though.
Like it's building on some of the better parts of its past games. The focus of the multiplayer match was mostly about getting
base building back, okay.
Fighting for resource control.
Now, chat, if y'all don't know, Dawn of War 1 had the best base building. Like, that's what everyone loved. It was base building, huge armies. Dawn of War 2 came out. They got rid of base building completely. I don't know why. Then they had just, smaller armies. It was mainly by heroes. That shit was okay. It wasn't that good. Graphics-wise, it was pretty good, but the gameplay just wasn't there. Then they came out with Dawn of War 3. They brought back base building. Graphics was all right, but, like, it was missing something, bro. It was ass. It was still ass. Now we got Dawn of War 4, bro. It looks pretty. We got base building. The maps look all right. Okay, the graphics is good. And it looks like we got big armies here. Look at this.
To you at
and it's updated Warhammer, bro. It's 41st Millennium.
About keeping up pressure, maintaining.
Okay, hold on. I might have to cop this, bro.
Building up momentum.
I'm going to cop this, actually.
The actual gameplay seemed fairly fast-paced compared to some of the more slower RTS games, which is interesting because the devs here are King Art Games, the same devs that made Iron Harvest, which is basically known for being a slower, slightly more methodical RTS in its gameplay. Also, it seems like some aspects of the game are leaning closer to how
Adeptus Mechanicus
plays, and even bringing
they
back
look kind of cool too. I'm not gonna lie, the guitar
like
and all that.
Squads
Yo, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna play Space Marines. I might play Necrons too. Like my grandpa, like me growing up as a kid, my grandpa got me into this like Warhammer shit, bro. Like a lot of people my age don't really know what this is, bro. StarCraft as well, but bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna be playing Space Marines or Necrons, and then I'll play the other races later. But I'm probably gonna start out with those two. I'm not gonna lie.
As said, map control was a big focus throughout the match, and that's pretty standard for many RTS games, as it
My
usually
grandpa was a heavy
dictates whether
Necron
you
player.
win or
He loved
lose,
the Necron.
especially in multiplayer. But unlike many other RTS games, Dawn of War doesn't have a traditional worker unit system to gather resources. Instead, like the older games, it's all about capturing requisition points.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, chat. There's another one we're gonna react to called Total War Warhammer 40K. Bro, I'm excited for that game too. I'm not gonna talk about that one now because right now we're reacting to this, but bro, Dawn of War 4, right? I like how they're staying true to like the different factions because they all work differently, bro. There's like 10 different factions, bro. And if they can bring all 10 and make them work differently into one RTS, yo, I hope they do that with Warhammer 40K Total Warhammer, bro. That Total War Warhammer 40K is gonna be tough. It's a different, bigger scale RTS, you know, for y'all who know the Warhammer franchise like that and whatnot. But bro, I'm not gonna lie. Damn, bro, that shit. I'm excited for the game, bro. RTS games, PS games that's coming out. You know, GTA 6, bro. We lit. Chat, we fucking lit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Just put that up in the chat for me real quick. Cause damn, chat, we got some games we gonna be playing. We're gonna be busy this year.
Now power nodes
we gonna be
spread
busy
across the map. Which, if you played the older Dawn of War games, you'll know that this type of map control ties directly into how strong your economy is. But this time, even power nodes are points on the map, unlike the original Dawn of War 1 style, where it had base building structures to earn power. So actively fighting
I'm pretty sure
and
this cutscene is from Total
maintaining
Warhammer.
territory across the map is extremely important for building a faster economy. On that note, requisition is used mainly for producing units.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we're going to get it set in the sauce. So we got requisition, we got power nodes, just like how it was in every Dawn of War game. It looks like we got the same like graphics from make sure it looks like Dawn of War 2, I want to say, or Dawn of War 3. It looks like a mission from Dawn of War 2, to be honest. But hold on, okay, we got the classic requisition.
Increasingly important as you want to tech up into stronger units and higher tier structures. This naturally makes those power nodes some of the most valuable objectives on the map, because capturing one instantly gives you control over each of the generators connected to it, allowing you to get those higher tier units and vehicles faster. Another interesting thing that people have spotted is that there doesn't appear to be a more traditional population cap. Although it was still a preview build and things could change, it does look like the size of your army is naturally limited by how much of the map you control. So again, unlike other
okay, hold on a second. So there's no cap to how it was in the previous games. Obviously, Dawn of War 2, like I said, had no, like, that shit, like you, bro, after you make 4 squads, that was your army. That shit was trash. I didn't play Dawn of War 3 at all. I skipped Dawn of War 3. I've watched it. It wasn't for me. It looked trash. Again, only like 3 factions on that one. I don't know why they keep cutting them down. But Dawn of War 1 was the shit chat because it had every faction just about. And the army size was big. And then you had the mods like Ultimate Apocalypse. Shit, what else? You had whatchamacallit, chat? Hold on, let me fix that for y'all. We had chat, I think we had hold on. And Dawn of War we had like 8 races. We had the Tau Empire, Imperial Guard, Orcs, Necrons, Space Marines, Chaos, Eldar, right? In the Backkk game. And then they had Soulstorm, and then they added 2 more races, the Dark Eldar, and then the Sisters of Battle. And then you can get mods to get the Tyranids in there, Chaos Demons, Undivided, and a whole bunch of other sub-factions as well. But the army sizes were huger, and the maps were bigger. That's why everyone loved the classic Dawn of War series, right? So it looks like they're going to try to do this again. And then I also seen that we're going to have like the cutscenes, or I'm sorry, not the cutscenes, but like the animation styles. Everyone loved the kill animations, but they're going to be so synced in this game that like you can see them one-on-one, like they have different animations, which I think is fucking badass.
Yes,
cool
games where expanding your economy means building more workers, expanding your base, getting more units, and thus increasing your pop cap. It seems that controlling those points is tied directly into your total army size as well as your resource generation.
Okay.
Another thing that goes into this is the upkeep system. In the gameplay, we can see that instead of just paying for a unit and that's it and you forget about it, every squad appears to have an ongoing resource cost after they spawn in. You can see the negative red number next to their requisition, which shows their unit upkeep.
Bro, what are you watching, Twin? Bro, this is Dawn of War, bro. This is a game that I grew up playing and since the first one came out, bro. I'm talking years, like over 10 years ago, bro. The game been out longer than that, but my grandpa's the one who put me on. But bro, this is some next. This is some RTS shit. Stop looking at you, bro. I'm gonna keep looking, bro. Let me stop. Now look, bro. Like you know the game me and Amir be playing, StarCraft 2. We also play this, bro. And they're making a new game that's coming out this year. Later on, I think September. Yeah, bro. It's like one of those games, bro. But the one I'm gonna be playing on stream called Space Marine 2 is the same as Stu, Dawn of War, Warhammer. It's just a different type of style game. Like it's like you gonna see when I play it. But there's 2 new RTSs coming out. There's Total War 4K, and then there's this one RTS. So some ass this shit. No, bro, it's not ass, bro. Like, come on, gang. It's not ass. Just because you can't compute on what the fuck going on type shit, and you know what the fuck it is, though, don't make it ass. You feel me? Just because you ass at real-time strategy, you know, just because you can't use your brain fast enough to multitask, don't mean the game's ass, bro.
This is further pushed with things like auto-reinforcing, which brings your units up to and keeps them at full strength, but will automatically deplete your requisition. Another really interesting thing is how research is totally different to the usual RTS
I know
formula.
what he got going on.
Instead of saving up and spending your resources on researching, those research upgrades now only cost time instead. This makes a pretty big difference to other RTS games where you would plan ahead and budget your resources in order to tech up sooner. But instead, this time around, it's going to be more about prioritizing what upgrades you need right now in the match.
Yeah, I don't know why on this game, chat, on this one. Chat, I'm sorry, I'm reacting to this for a YouTube video as well. I don't know why they had the Space Marines, but they decided to add another chapter, which is called the Dark Angels. I think you're playing as the Blood Angels, right? Or the Blood Ravens. No, the Blood Ravens, which was there in the original Dawn of War Kronos game, Dark Crusade. And then now they're having the Dark Angels, which I don't understand why they decided to do that. I would rather a whole different faction, but they did it. But I guess they play differently because they got 2 different sub-factions of orcs. They got Gruskul, I think, and then they got Gorguts, which I found kind of cool, to be honest, because they fight differently. They got different units and shit.
Resource costs tied to it. The best example I can think
of
here
Zay, how you feeling, my boy? You feeling good?
Then you might want to focus on unlocking higher tier units and their research first. Meanwhile, if you're falling behind, maybe getting some stronger combat upgrades for the units you already have is going to be better to capture points that you need right now. But as you can see, when you put all of these things together, the outcome of a multiplayer match is pretty much directly tied to how much territory you can control and hold. And these things also dial into the different armies and their strengths and weaknesses as well. The developers have said that for Space Marines, they're a much more elite force. They field fewer units in total, but are much stronger, meaning they more so heavily rely on the power resource to unlock their full potential instead of requisition, as they basically need to tech up to field their strongest units. This means that for the Space Marines, those power nodes are going to be much more important than for another faction.
Yo, I'm liking this, chat. I'm not going to lie.
We also got to see how Space Marines have a bigger focus on bringing in reserves, both from units and buildings being deployed from orbit. You have things like hammerful bunkers that can be dropped directly into contested objectives, and each faction have their own powerful stratagems, which function kind of like global powers that you sometimes see in other RTS games. Then on the other hand, the Orcs are basically the opposite of the Space Marine. They're for players that want to overwhelm or swarm their targets, although I will say we didn't really get to see much of that in action as this was a shorter match, and we didn't get to see loads of orcs fielded all at once, which is a shame.
I know some of my friends who playing orcs, they're gonna try to
unit can actually help construct buildings
to the
wherever
like,
they go, and orcs can build anywhere on the map. This is quite important to their strategy, as it allows them to more easily make forward bases, reinforce captured territory, and creep across the map.
One thing y'all should know, if y'all don't already, I'm a nerd, bro. Like, feel me? I got that hood side. I can get to it, but bro, I love what I love, bro. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I love anime. I love RTS styles, bro. I'm just like, bro, I'm a jack of all trades, bro. I do it all. I make music, bro. I do it all, bro. Like, bro, sue me, bro. Sue me.
Plus, the orc buildings look really cool, and each one is armed and kind of functions as a turret. When you spawn them, they literally crash into the battlefield, and you have some really cool options like the bomb squig pens that act as a turret, sending out bomb squigs to blow up enemy squads. And apparently they're really strong in the match, as we can see. It seems like they've done a really good job of selling the fantasy of playing the orc faction because they play so differently. Another unique thing about them is their war system. This is shown in the top left of the UI as this meter, and this is kind of like their version of global powers. As the war builds up throughout the match, it leads to more of the Orc arsenal becoming available to you, eventually letting you field huge
Okay, you
units
fill up the
like
Y,
an
I remember that.
Orcanaut into the fight. And while we don't know exactly how this system works in detail, it does show a clear contrast between the two factions. The Space Marines rely more on their precision and their elite units, while the Orcs are more dangerous.
The Necrons are hard, I'm not gonna lie. I'm waiting to see gameplay on that Deus Mechanicus and the Necrons, because right now all we have is Orcs and Space Marines. But I don't mind them. They're just more of the generic races. You know, you see them more often than not than any of the other races. But the Necrons are badass.
That war going. Another interesting mechanic is the equipment system. Essentially, instead of replacing entire squads to counter what your opponent is building, you can swap out weapons and pick different loadouts depending on the situation, and this is called war gear. In the gameplay, we can see that you can equip multiple pieces of war gear into a Space Marine unit,
but it looks like
which is one of their more unique attributes. So in this game, if you needed, say, some anti-vehicle damage, you don't necessarily have to produce a whole new chain of units to counter that type of unit. You could just upgrade or swap out your war gear on the units you already have.
Okay,
now,
fucking with that.
War has always been about action. The combat itself seems designed to keep us focused on the action instead of consistently managing smaller tasks in the background. There's actually features that are included in Dawn of War 4 to help with this, and some are
okay, this gonna be a good game, Chad. This gonna be a good ass game.
The system is back and has a bigger impact on the factions that rely on fewer units with lower population.
Y'all
if a
definitely
fight's
gonna see this on the YouTube
badly,
channel.
you can press the retreat button to quickly pull your squad back to the nearest production building instead of manually microing every single unit to safety. This, of course, is a pretty nice quality of life change, and it lowers the barrier of entry for newer RTS players without losing too much depth, because you will still have to recognize when a fight is lost, when the best time to press that.
Yo, I wonder if this is going to be big enough, like compact enough, competitive enough, where it's like you can have esports for this. Because if that's the case, I definitely would grind and play this on my own time. I'll probably stream it on YouTube. I don't know if I'll stream it on Twitch and Kick yet, just because I know a lot of people don't know what this is, especially in my audience. But I'm sure I'll attract a lot of different ones. My audience is varies, but yeah, I'm excited because I know they have it with StarCraft. That game is just on a whole nother level, though, to be honest.
Retreat button is, and if
it's literally the hardest game in the world.
In the trade-off,
look up the hardest game in the world to get good at, and it's going to tell you StarCraft.
The system, the reinforced mechanic is also back, and this allows you to keep your
StarCraft
units
is RTS, though.
Damaged units can automatically replenish themselves at a resource cost, which is good for reducing that downtime between engagements. If you've ever played an RTS, you know how useful this is going to be, as micro-heavy battles can get pretty intense. I also like that the powerful global abilities come with faction-specific themes and even trade-offs. The classic Space Marine orbital bombardment is back, and it can devastate an area on the map,
graphics,
but it also damages friendly units caught in the blast and costs a lot of your global ability resource. So weighing up which abilities are worth using at different moments all ties into your overall plan for the match, and given that you have some really strong options, it can play a big role in winning or losing, just like how the war system does for the Orcs. Overall, the reaction to this multiplayer match has been pretty positive. We got to see how the game actually plays and what the vision of the devs is. We've even looked through socials to see what people are saying about the reveal, and most of the praise has been around the difference in faction identity and how it looks more like an amalgamation of the earlier Dawn of War games. That said, there are still some valid concerns though. A few people are concerned about the readability of the screen during larger battles, and that buildings sometimes blend together once things start popping off. Another request from more long-term Dawn of War fans is to see more persistent bodies on the battlefield, with things like wrecked vehicles and dead units actually being present on the ground after they've already died. And there is still plenty that we haven't seen.
I'm sure you could just do that on the terrain detail, because in the first one, you could there was a mode, you could switch the model bodies after they died, high, low, medium, and you can just tweak the setting on that. I'm sure they'll probably do it again with Dawn of War 4.
Too much of the contextual combat animations and melee interactions that they described in previous reveals. And the same goes for the remaining factions that we're yet to really see proper gameplay on, plus how the larger maps will play out and so on. But overall, we've come away from this reveal pretty optimistic and feeling like we got to see more of what the game actually is. It feels like they showed us how Dawn of War 4 is supposed to be.
Yo, Chad, the Space Marines are badass, but I just don't like.
It is an amalgamation of mechanics.
I like the Leagues of Votann because they're basically like dwarf Space Marines.
It's still looking exciting, but playing for ourselves.
But they got like technology that's like that, bro. They can keep up with them niggas.
Seen, we do like the look of it. Tell us what you think of it down below, and
they like genetically modified, because the Space Marines are genetically modified. You're gonna see
your favorite games coming
to be that strong
soon. Here at
By
Arix
doing, like,
Gaming,
surgery
we're
and
two
shit?
friends who love to play games.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. This
You have
shit
me,
looks like it's gonna be
Paradise.
tough, bro. This shit look like it's gonna be tough, bro. I'm on down for it. I'm definitely down for that, chat. This game is gonna be lit.